Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Welcome to Soul Power Tennis. I'm Akmo Sari, and we're having a watch along of live tennis, men's third round of live tennis. There you go. Men's third round between world number 3 and defending Wimbledon champion Carlos Alcaraz serving in the third set at 5-all against Francis Tiafoe, world number 29. Alcaraz and Tiafoe are two of the 24 players in the gentlemen's singles draw who hold a grass court title. This is the third round. Francis Tiafoe is up 2-1. So he's a few games away from literally winning the match and taking out the defending champion, world number 3, and the guy who's won the previous Grand Slam champion, who's won the previous Grand Slam at the French Open. So that's where we're at right now. Carlos Alcaraz serving down 2-1 against Francis Tiafoe. I would usually put the scores up, but not today. We're going to give the verbal, and that should be good enough. If it goes to a fifth set, then potentially I'll put the scores in the chat, or on the screen rather, because we shouldn't be putting scores in the chat. But this is a very, very exciting match. Tiafoe has Robin Montgomery, an upcoming U.S. player, in his box, along with his team, his woman friend. You know, the crowd seems a bit tense. So they're not really cheering and pulling for Alcaraz, and they're not really cheering and pulling for Tiafoe. They're kind of like a bit stunned by what's going on. And yeah, I don't know all of what to make of it, but it's happening. It is happening. It is happening. Both players are dressed in all white, obviously, because it is the Wimbledon Championships. Francis is wearing a black right knee brace. Francis hasn't been having the best season of his career by no stretch of the imagination. Should he win this match, this would be his first time this year winning 3 matches in a row, which makes the result, or makes the complexity of this match a bit more interesting, because Francis hasn't been playing well this year. And then he comes to Wimbledon, the third Grand Slam of the year, and he's playing extremely well against that guy. Although Carlos Alcaraz is not ranked number 1 presently, you know, he's been in the top 3 now for a solid 2 years. And so he's that guy. He's that dude. You know, he's a 3-time Grand Slam champion. I think he's about to turn 21 or just turned 21. So he's a very young man, but he's a tennis superstar. And he's won 3 out of the 4 Grand Slams on 3, of the 4, on all 3 surfaces. He has a hard court Grand Slam championship. He has a grass court championship, and he has a clay court championship. So only one of the few players to ever do that in the game of tennis, the sport of tennis. So, and like I said, just hovering around 21. So Carlos Alcaraz is he's already a Hall of Famer and an all-time great player for what he's done and who he's beat and how he's done it. and he's going up against a guy who is an incredible sportsman, an incredible athlete, an incredible player. He's a big-time tennis player, meaning that he loves the big matches against the big players, because that's when he tends to play his best, when the lights are the brightest. Now, is he able to finish the job? We'll see. 1 point, 1 game at a time. Right now, Francis is serving up 2 sets to 1, 6-5 in the 4th set, 15 all. Francis with the serve out wide, forehand, backhand to backhand. Carlos hits it out. Alcaraz is challenging the call that was called out. It was out. It is now 30-15, Tiafoe. I'm not a fan of this referee at all. I've seen enough of her throughout the years. She's irritating to me. She forehand to forehand with the chips. Yeah. Cat and mouse net play. Francis comes out on top of that. Yeah, I mean, she messed up a call earlier. Francis hit a forehand in. Well, I think Alcaraz hit the ball out during a rally. Come on, Francis. 6-all tie break. Francis, Carlos hit a ball out. It was called out, and the chair umpire literally overturned it. It was like, correction, the ball is good. So Francis challenged. Francis was correct. The ball was actually out. The chair umpire didn't give an apology. She made no facial gesture apologizing or being like, oh, she was just like, oh, it is what it is. But I've just seen her in times past just do not cool stuff on the court to players. Anyway, it is 6-all. 4th set tiebreak. Carlos Alcaraz versus Francis Tiafoe. 3rd round. If you haven't clicked that thumbs up button, if you haven't clicked that like button, please go ahead and do that. I would greatly appreciate that. This is my first time streaming tennis in probably over a year. And so I'm returning, working my way back into it. So I appreciate you being here. Click that thumbs up button, click that like button, click that subscription button. It's greatly appreciated. It helps the channel to grow. All right. Alcaraz won the first point. Now Francis is serving. Oh! Wow. Wow. Carlos Alcaraz kind of stole a point from Francis Tiafoe and is now up a mini break in the 4th set tie break. 2 games to love. That was a Carlos Alcaraz thing and play. That only a few players can do. Francis serves, forehand to forehand. Carlos Alcaraz with the backhand. Francis with the forehand. Cross court backhand. Cross court backhand by Carlos. Wow. Carlos wins the point. Consolidates the break. Is now up 3 games to love in the 4th set tie break. Now, this similar thing happened at the U.S. Open. Will the outcome be different? You know, Francis Tiafoe was up 2-1, if I'm correct. Um, they at least went to a fifth set, and it was close, but Carlos pulled away. So can Francis come back in this tie break and win it in 4 sets? Will it go to a fifth, and we'll see what happens? Come on, Francis. Ooh. Ah! Tiafoe goes for the overhead. Um, it was out. Carlos up 4-0. Where are you watching from? Turn the music down. Is there any music playing? Music playing. Yeah, let's get some music playing. I apologize about that. Let's see. Music playing. Yeah, let's get some music playing. I apologize. All right. Okay. Forehand. Francis Tiafoe forehand to Carlos's forehand exchange. Francis slips. Giving up a bit gimpy. He's down for a little bit. Yeah, he took a slip. Francis took a slip there. Seems to be okay. Slippery grass, man. The grass is slippery. The grass is slippery. Francis, second serve. Down 5-1 in the fourth set tie break, yet up 2-1. Backhand to backhand, cross court Tiafoe, chip by Alcaraz, forehand cross court by Francis. The chip. Did he get it? On the line. Francis with the overhead on the line. Wow. Wow. That's a crazy shot. Carlos serving 5-2 with the set on his racket. 2 points away from leveling the match at 2 sets all. Fault. Serve down the middle, does the job. Francis hits it out, 6-2. Carlos now with a string of set points, 4 to be exact. There's this guy in Francis's box who looks like on that later. And there it is. 2 sets all. To the 5th set we go. You know, it's only fitting. This match deserves that between these two kinds of players. You know, Carlos Alcaraz is a defending champion. You don't want to see him go out in 4 sets. You want to see, if he's going to go out, you want to see him go out against a worthy opponent, but you want to see that worthy opponent push him to the max, and you want the competition to be squeezed out of both players in the match. And how do you do that? Going 5 sets. Going 5 sets. And hey, it's like, you know, may the better player, may the better man win. 4-set summary: 6 aces, Carlos Alcaraz. 3 aces for Francis. Double faults, 2 apiece. First serves, 66% for Carlos, 50% for Francis. Francis had the momentum, the majority of that set. You know, coming into the set, he had won, I think, 8 games out of 10, if I'm correct. And then that tie break, Carlos just snatched the momentum away from Francis. This woman is taking pictures of Francis with no shirt off her back. Her and her son. But yeah, he's Carlos is waiting for Francis to come out. He's had a almost complete wardrobe change, other than what's below the waist. New shirt, new wristbands, new headband. Racket. So, as I said, a 1-set shootout. Dustin Hoffman is in the crowd. Mr. Rain Man himself, other than Sean Kemp. 2 sets all. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Yeah, high stakes right now. An incredible opportunity for Francis to have a major upset, take out the defending champion in the 3rd round. That's the 5 sets. Carlos is hot. You know, he just won the French Open a few weeks ago, or a few strongs ago, as I say. You know, this would be up there with the biggest wins of Francis's career. Obviously, Francis has been to the U.S. Open semifinal. He's beat Rafael Nadal, I think, in the 3rd or 4th round at the U.S. Open 2 years ago. Was Rafa in form? It's debatable. But a win is a win. You know, he's come close to beating Roger at the U.S. Open. Probably should have. He's been competitive against Novak a time or two. You know, a few 4 sets. I don't recall in the moment how he did against Andy Murray exactly. But to take out the guy who's the defending champion at Wimbledon on center court in the 3rd round, that's major. That's a real big win. Right now we're 2 sets all, 5th set. Frances Tiafoe serving 30-15. Frances won the 1st set. Carlos won the 2nd. Frances won the 3rd. Carlos won the 4th in the tiebreak. And now we are on serve in the 5th. Frances with the forehand. Carlos, they're going forehand to forehand. Frances with the chip. Frances with the cross-court forehand winner. Past Carlos Alcaraz. 40-15. Yeah, Frances has a guy in his box who looks like Brad Gilbert hit the rewind clock by 40 years, 30 years. Looks like a younger, more stout version of Brad Gilbert mixed with the Terminator. And again, Frances also has Robin Montgomery, an upcoming U.S. women's player in his box, along with his other team and his lady. Frances holds serve. One game to love. Really good hold. You know, you don't want to start off a set. You don't want to start off the 5th set losing your serve. Because that ain't a good way to start. Carlos Alcaraz is one of 5 Grand Slam champions in the gentlemen's single draw. Only something. How are you all doing? What y'all doing? Hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button. I appreciate that. All right. Carlos serving 15 love. Love 1, 5th set. 2 sets apiece. 3rd round. Wimbledon Championships. This. Carlos serving. Down the middle, wins that serve. This is Soul Power Tennis. you do things a bit different here. (40-15). One serve in the fifth set with Carlos Alcaraz serving. Second serve ace. That was impressive. One game apiece in the fifth set. Francis serving. Second serve. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up button. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up button. What? Did the chair umpire overrule the serve? What? All right. Love 15. Francis serving. He has to stay locked in. No dips. It's a fifth set, so that was smart. Francis Carlos hit a little chip, a little bunt, knowing how far back Francis was. Francis had to run pretty far to get to it and hit it out. Swing, one piece all in the fifth set. Crucial points right here. You do not want to go down a break in this set, regardless of which player you are, because the other player has been serving pretty well overall. All right, their forehand exchanges, backhand to backhand. Francis approaches the net. Oh my goodness, hits the ball long. Gives Alcaraz 2 break points. This is crucial. Great defensive skills by Carlos Alcaraz. Kind of does something that you see Djokovic do often. The little chip forehand as he slides. Great defense. Francis serving. Serve out wide, good serve. Wow. Francis let the ball go and it was in. Wow. You know, they got this Bose commercial with Coco Gauff with this, I suppose, British artist, rapper, singer, using our terms. And then they got some queer black guy next to her. Like, it's like, can you just put her with a black guy? It's always some agenda. Let's not put her with a black guy who's heterosexual presenting, because that might be a bit too racy. Let's just do what we usually do and put a black guy in there who's queer. And they're, you know, curling it up. But, you know, not a big fan of commercials in general. That was a crucial game. Francis needs to regroup, recenter, and try to break back and stop Carlos from consolidating this break. The benefit that Francis has is that he did serve first in this set. If I'm correct, let me see. Yeah, he did serve first in this set. That's always a slight advantage when you're going into a set, when you're going into the fifth set, especially. Carlos serving. First serve was a fault. Second serve is going to go out wide, down the line, kick serve. What is he going to do? Goes into the body of Francis. Backhand to backhand exchange, cross court. Francis with the forehand. Francis with the forehand down the line. It wasn't clear if it was in or out, and so I don't know which player is challenging. That was out. Very love Alcaraz. I know you're seeing a black guy commentate on tennis. It's kind of weird, but I'm here. We exist. I exist. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you for clicking that like button. Click that thumbs up button. Yes, I'm a black man with kinky hair commentating on tennis. I've been watching tennis now for 32 years. So I'm not a novice. I'm a long-time passionate admirer of the sport brings to the world. In terms of my knowledge of the intricacies of the game, I'm more of an intermediate guy, but I'm learning and I'm growing every single day. But again, I've been watching the game for 32 years. So 30-15 on Carlos' serve. Fifth set. Carlos up 2-1, up a break. Trying to consolidate that break. Francis is trying to fight it off. So, crucial points. These guys talking about popping champagne. Commentary. Come on. Now, who do I want to win? Listen, Carlos Alcaraz is one of my favorite players. He is, in terms of overall, he's potentially my favorite player because of how he's doing it, how soon he's doing it, his personality type, his game, how he exudes himself on the court. He's so awesome. Just a spectacular player, a phenom, literally. You know, he's won, 3 Grand Slams, and it's not even, 21 yet, or it's hovering around 21. Just won the French Open. I just like the man's heart. I like his style of play. I think he's amazing. And he's a defending champion. Francis is representing the U.S., and I've always pulled for Francis for various reasons. I want to see him do well. I think he has the game to win a Grand Slam. Shit. Wow, that was close. Carlos Alcaraz consolidates the break and is now up 3-1 in the fifth set. I think Francis has the game to win the Grand Slam. It's just a matter of, can he put it all together for 7 matches in a row, mentally and physically, and stay locked in, deal with the ebbs and flows of the matches, the ebbs and flows of his game. And, he obviously needs probably 2 or 3 big wins out of the 7 in order to win the Grand Slam championship. and it usually comes up against, in the previous era of Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer, not so many players were winning a Grand Slam. And now you have the era transitioning into the Carlos Alcaraz, Yannick Sinner era, and these guys are winning Grand Slams right out the box. So it's tough times to win. But Francis has shown that he has the game to go deep into a slam, and the game to challenge these all-time great players and these superstar players. It's just, can he do it the entirety of the match and come out with the win? That remains to be seen. Can he do that consistently? It remains to be seen. Francis serving 15 all, down 1-3 in the fifth set. Come on. Come on, Francis. It's a double fault. 15-30. You go down 2 breaks against Carlos Alcaraz in the fifth set. Daunting, man. Daunting task to come back from. Francis has got to stay focused, hold his serve, and try to make some inroads on Carlos's serve the next time that he does so. Backhand to backhand exchange, forehand to forehand, cross court. Francis, oh my God. Francis is hitting the ball short. He's hitting the net, clipping the tape. Not something that he did before. And the commentator just said that he hasn't really been missing these shots all match. Now he's starting to miss them. His beautiful woman friend is cheering him on. Big moments, man. Come on. So Francis. Yeah, Francis represents the States. I love to see him on this big stage, center court, against this caliber of a player. And to be doing well, that's awesome. So I'm happy for him. I want him to win, not just do well. That's just a disgustingly good shot by Carlos Alcaraz. Second break of serve, man. 4-1. Gutting for Francis Tiafoe. I mean, you felt it coming in terms of like once Carlos won that fourth set tiebreak and he grabbed the momentum back from Francis. You know how tough Carlos is in fifth sets in Grand Slams. And you just knew that he would just take it up a level and he would start to carve or at least compete better. And that's what he's been doing, man. The game, the heart of a true champion. His game is elevated. Francis's game has dipped. That doesn't spell for a good result for Francis. Now, if Francis was playing at the level that he was playing before, even though Carlos had raised his game, then he wouldn't be down 2 breaks in this set. But again, Francis just has to stay locked in, take it 1 game, 1 point at a time. Carlos serving. First point is out. Both players, listen, it's a match. Both players have to stay locked in. Francis, if Carlos loses concentration, if Francis gets a break, anything could happen. I've seen it before. Just superb backhand down the line winner from Carlos Alcaraz. Ah! Alcaraz is just taking it to a different level right now, man. He's up 2 breaks, 4 games to 1, 30-15, serving in the 5th set against Francis Tiafoe. First serve was a fault. Second serve coming. Forehand to backhand exchange, forehand to forehand, cross court Carlos, Francis overhits the forehand, is now down 40-15 or 15-40, down 4 games to 1 in the 5th set. Yeah. Carlos has hit that extra gear, man. Francis's, girlfriend is trying to cheer him on. His woman friend trying to cheer him on, showing support. I greatly appreciate that. Looked a little deflated as they just showed her. Thank you for clicking that thumbs up button. I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing to the channel as well. This is Soul Power Tennis. We do things a little bit different here. The channel is not brand spanking new, but it's a newer channel. Francis with the ace as the crowd cheers. And I am returning to my tennis commentating days. First serve fault by Francis. Thank you for that subscription. Thank you for that like button. Francis with serve and volley, little chip, comes out on top with that. 30 love, 1 game to 5 in the 5th set, Francis Tiafoe. Where are you watching from? Let me know where you're watching from. Welcome to Soul Power Tennis. Francis with the first serve down the middle, called the fault. Second serve coming. Down the middle, backhand chip. Carlos moves forward. Francis is letting balls go that he shouldn't let go. If you're there, just go for it, man. At this point, you got to take charge and take your destiny into your own hands. Carlos moved forward with the forehand swinging volley, and Francis just watched it as it, was just inside the line. He regretted it right afterwards. It's like, no, man. Swing it. Swing that racket. Go for it. Good serve. Oh, my goodness. Francis Tiafoe, serve and volley. Tries to go for a little bunt over the net. Doesn't make it. It's important to hold serve and make the other opponent serve it out. That's bare minimum. hold your serve and make the other opponent serve it out, regardless of who the opponent is, what the situation is, and especially serving for the match. Forehand to forehand exchange. Francis holds. Go out strong, man. Still alive. Carlos serving 5-2 in the 5th set. So that's where we're at. How are you all doing? Let me know where you're watching from. My name is Akmo Sari. This is Soul Power Tennis. Where are you watching from? If you tell me, I'll tell you. 3rd round, Alcaraz versus Tiafoe. Wimbledon Championships. Don't be afraid. I know I'm a black guy with some kinky hair, and I'm commentating on tennis. I know it seems strange, but it shouldn't be. I've been watching tennis just as long as you, if not longer. I've been watching tennis for 32 years. 32. How about you? Where are you watching from? Click that thumbs up button, click that notification bell, click that subscription button. I appreciate it. Welcome to Soul Power Tennis. The first match that I've commentated on in probably over a year. Next match up on center court is Madison Keys versus Stoik, young tennis player from Ukraine. That's going to be an eye grabber. Carlos Alcaraz now serving for the set, 5-2 in the 5th set. First serve fault down the middle. Second serve. What? Must have been a let. Second serve. Francis goes for the cross-court backhand pass and appears to have just been out. Carlos Alcaraz needs a haircut. He can use a shape-up, rather. Not a haircut. He can use a shape-up. A tapering in the back. He's a very hairy individual. And for Francis Tiafoe, this situation is pretty hairy at the present moment. So, forehand exchange, and Carlos Alcaraz comes out on top. 30 love, 2 points away from winning the match. We had a cross-court forehand exchange. And everything was working for Francis Tiafoe for the 3rd and 4th set until that tie break. And since that tie break, in the 5th set, Carlos Alcaraz has been on a roll. Oh, man. Match point. Carlos gives a little smirk and a little nod to his box like, I got this stuff. I mean, you knew that if it went to a 5th set, that Carlos Alcaraz would be favored. That's why you felt like Francis really needed to win it in the 4th set. And he did his best. It was a closer tie break. Score may not show that, but $40 love, 3 match points. Carlos Alcaraz, 5-2, 5th set. Carlos with a little bunt over the net. Both players hug at the net with friends. What a great match. Carlos, arms wide open. With arms wide open. Now he's roaring to the crowd, acknowledging all four corners of the court. Advancing to the round of 16 for the third straight year. Cheers to Francis, man, for how he played this match. And, credit to who he played it against. I'm sure he's going to get a good applause from the crowd. Pretty decent interviewer approaching to interview the players or to interview Carlos. Looks a little easy on the eyes. Carlos putting the watch on, gold with the black strap. Francis getting his stuff together. Yeah, Francis did not win 3 sets in a row for the first time this year. But the second match in a row that he's taken Carlos Alcaraz to 5 sets. Good stuff, Francis. Man, we love you, brother. You bet it. Good applause. Good applause from the crowd. Keep the fight. Keep the fight, man. Keep the fight. Touches his heart, walks off the court. Now the Carlos Alcaraz interview. Loading. Oh, that woman? I wouldn't say she's easy on the eyes, but she has a nice height. Nice little brown dress. She's a good interviewer for sure. Our phrases are all over the place. He was coming. Tina Francis is a talented player. It's a tall task, but you got to get up to it and get it. I think a lot of difficult moments. Working through it. He's saying take it one more ball, one point at a time. That was his mindset during the match. Fit though. He's acknowledging his team. He's acknowledging their support. His father's in the box, as well as his coach. He's saying Spain, Germany is playing right now in football. The score is 0-0. Carlos is saying he's going to watch it straight away right after he goes to the locker room. He does what he needs to do. Good work, Carlos. Not bad for the interviewer. Fit. Listen, on this channel, we get a bit wonky. We keep it a bit raw. We keep it a bit non-PC. You know, we're focusing on tennis. We're focusing on the contributions of foundational Black Americans to the sport of the game of tennis. But, you know, we cover the entire sport in its entirety. We mix it up. We got some good music. We got some good commentary. And we do things a bit different here. We objectify by way of complimenting. So if you hear me comment on people's looks, what they're wearing, their styles, their presentation, that's what I do. You know, the interviewer had a nice outfit. She's got great height, very fit. I like that. Carlos can use a shape up in the back. Yeah. Francis maybe could use a shape up on the beard. Yeah. You know, but such is life. Sometimes I share what you may be thinking, but you don't want to say out loud. You know, we don't do discrimination here. We don't, you know, we keep it clean in that way. You know, good fun, good enjoyment. So let's see, who is Alcaraz? Let's look at the draw. Let's look at the draw. Let's see. That's not what I want. Let's see who Carlos Alcaraz is playing next. Wimbledon. Cheers to Francis. Cheers to Carlos Alcaraz. Francis Tiafoe, that is. Oh, next match is Emma Raducanu versus Maria Sakkari. Now, if you're a British person or player, may not like what I'm about to say. But all right, so third round, we got Yannick Sinner versus M. Kamenovich. We got Shapovalov versus Ben Shelton. That's going to be a fire match. Dimitrov beat Monfils in straight sets, 6-3, 6-4, 6-3. Struff versus Medvedev. Alcaraz versus Tiafoe. Alcaraz will play the winner. Pardon me, I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Alcaraz will play the winner of Nakashima and Humbert. Tommy Paul, straight sets win over Bublik. Roberto Bautista Agut versus Fabio Fognini. Kamasana versus Musetti. Impeshi. Petty? What is that? I don't have that full name. Petty card. Versus Rusuvori. Taylor Fritz versus Tabilo. Cam Nori versus Zverev. Phils versus Tiafoe. Puli versus Diminor. Rune versus Helis. Papain versus Djokovic. What's this right here? So yeah, that's what's still left in the men's draw. So far in the third round, Tommy Paul a winner, Gregor Dimitrov a winner, and Carlos Alcaraz a winner. If we go to the women's draw real quick, Swiatek versus Putintseva. Third round, this is Pera versus Ostapenko. Ostapenko is one of my favorite players to watch. Never thought I'd be saying that about a year and a half ago. Collins versus Haddad-Meyer. Ooh, I want to see that. Krejcikova versus Busas Menarero. I want to see that as well. Menarero took out the defending champion Vondrousova in the first round. This is a great picture. Emma Kanu versus Sakari. It's good to see Emma Raducanu in some kind of form. You know, she's been through a lot in terms of, you know, winning her Grand Slam championship a few years ago and all of that expectation. She's fighting her way back. Sakari has always been like a Grand Slam quarterfinalist and trying to, you know, step it up a bit. These are two interesting players, two quality players, so this should be a good match. Rybakina versus Wozniacki, that's going to be a good one. Let's go Rybakina. Not a fan of how Wozniacki ended the previous match against Leylah Fernandez. Kalinskaya versus Samsonova. Jabeur versus Svitolina. Dart versus Wang. Sun versus Zhu. Sun won that 7-6, 7-6. Crowd cheers. Emma Raducanu is a fan favorite. Why is she a fan favorite? Well, this is her home slam. She's you know, she is of foreign British descent, but Britain is her home, so she's British, so this is her home slam. Sakari is from Greece. You know, Raducanu is a very popular player because of her look, because of her talents. You know, she's a Grand Slam winner, so you got to give her credit for that. You can never take that away from her. But she's easy on the eyes, nice spirit, cordial personality. Katsakina versus Badosa. Badosa won that. Raducanu versus Sakari loading right now. Yastrzemska versus Bekic. Piolini versus Andreescu. Oh, Piolini won. That's who Madison Keys is playing next. I like Andreescu. Stuya actually lost against Madison Keys. Whoa. Be gentle with the grass. It is a living surface, they say. Schneider versus Navarro. Cartel versus Golf. All right. So that's that. That's an update. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate joining the broadcast and making it long last. Carlos Alcaraz wins 3-2 over Francis Tiafoe. and good match, good competition. Um, wow, Raducanu was only 21. Is she 5'9"? She's probably more like 5'7" in real life. Is what that means. Um, but she's an attractive young lady. She has the Asian features, and um, you know how the Western world and Western men feel about women with Asian features or Asian women. Yeah, I said it. Um, so for her to be British and have a British accent um, is, I'm sure, stimulating for a lot. Sakari is buffed from Greece, maybe a Greek goddess. But again, she has a sweet personality as well. Some of her on-court antics, I'm not like a huge fan of. But are these two Netflix ladies? Well, they are two good competitors. I'm sure it's going to be a good match. And I've never seen these two players play each other before. It's going to be a nice contrast. And yeah, I'm not going to be streaming this particular match live. I'm just updating it as they're warming up. They say Sakari is 5'8", which means in real life she's probably more like 5'6", maybe 5'7". So yeah, thank you all for joining the broadcast. Thank you for making it long last. I appreciate you very much for clicking that thumbs up button, clicking that notification bell, clicking that subscription button. Welcome to Soul Power Tennis. We do things a bit differently here, as you can see. But we enjoy ourselves, we mix it up, and we make the best of things. So I'd like to stay informed, entertained, and enjoy ourselves at the same time. So I appreciate you being here. On the way out, if you have not clicked that thumbs up button, please do. If you have not clicked that subscription button, please do. It helps the channel to grow. If you haven't clicked that notification bell, please do, so you can be made aware of when it is that we go live as I am commentating. And again, cheers to Francis Tiafoe, and cheers to Carlos Alcaraz for the win. All right. See you all next time. See you soon. Peace and love. Yes.